Slated, please.
Today is October 1st, 1995. The survivor is Sarah Roth. Her former name was Sarah Mermelstein. The interviewer is Anne Bernard. We're taking this interview in Farmingdale, New York, in the United States of America. The language used is English. I'm interviewing Sarah Roth. My name is Anne Bernard. The interview is taking place in Farmingdale, New York, the United States of America. Mrs. Roth's maiden name was Sarah Mermelstein. The language we are using is English. Could you tell me where you were born?
I was born in a small town in Klachanova. It was 3 miles from Mukachevo, the big city. And we were 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
What country was this in?
When I was born, it was Czechoslovakia. And every time, something else changed.
What does that mean?
I mean, after Czechoslovakia was Hungary until 1944 was Hungary.
And then what happened?
And in 1944, Germans came, surrounded the village. I don't know.
What country did it become after Hungary?
Just Hungary. Hungary gave the Jews out. They told them that they should give them the young people. He says, if you take the young, take the old too.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood. Let's go back to that for a minute. You mentioned that you have brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
How many?
3 brothers and 3 sisters.
And what were their names?
The name was Jacob and Abraham and Abram. And my sister was Fanny and Malka and Dora. And then me.
You were the youngest?
No, I was the second from the youngest.
And how many years difference was there between the oldest and the youngest?
A lot of years, maybe 10, 12 years was the difference. And then I was next to the youngest.
When you say a small village,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
I mean, it was maybe, I don't know, 1,500 people, and it was about 50, maybe 50 Jewish families. It was, this is what we knew, so we made the best of it. You know, we didn't lack of food, you know, till the Germans came.
What did your father do?
My father was just a farmer. You know, we had our own cows and chickens and eggs and vegetables we grew, and we survived.
Was that produce, the eggs and the milk and the vegetables, were they sold to people in the village?
No, not to the big city, just the milk and cheeses, things like that.
And the family lived on the rest?
The family lived on the rest, yeah. Everybody had a trade and worked, you know. I was a seamstress.
Did your mother work?
No, my mother didn't work. My father died when I was a young girl.
And tell me about the religious background of your family in the little village.
Everybody was Orthodox. You know, there was no such a thing as something else.
And what does that mean?
I mean, you know, everybody knew everybody. We had a nice temple, and it was couldn't say not a happy life. We knew this is our home, and that's all. We had family around in other villages,
Did they get together with you for special occasions?
Yes. We used to come to them. We used to go in walking distance, but it was another village.
The local synagogue, did it have a rabbi?
No, it's just a Baltvilla, or would you call it? No. Somebody that represents the congregation. It was a nice shul. It was happy occasions, That's all about it.
Could you tell us a little about your schooling?
The school, we had a Russian school, and we had a Czech school that they taught us in Czech. And most all the Jewish people went to the Czech school. We had two schools, but we just went to the 8th grade, that's all. We didn't have a chance.
Why did you choose, do you think, to go to the Czech school rather than the Russian school?
Czechs were very, very nice people to the Jews,
In what way?
I mean, they respect us better. They used to come to our homes, and it was a nice atmosphere with them.
So you were on good terms.
Yes, yes.
Did you have any friends who were not Jewish?
I mean, we lived between all Christian families. They used to come and celebrate our holiday. I mean, my mother used to bake holly for them and food. Everybody lived nice together. There was no problem till the time came.
What did you do when you finished the 8th grade?
I went to learn a trade in the city, the big city. I learned to be a seamstress, That's where I was working.
How old were you when you left the 8th grade?
The 8th grade? I don't know, 13 years. And then you went to learn the trade.
Was that the custom to be so young?
I mean, some people, if they had the means, they went to the big city, to high school. You had to pay for it.
What was the name of the big city?
Mukachevo.
And that was still part of Czechoslovakia?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Would you say that most of your brothers and sisters went to the big city to learn a trade or to go to high school?
No, learn a trade.
Did anyone in the family go to high school?
Yeah, there's no chance.
What do you think the reason for that was?
Because we heard already rumors that bad things are coming, and it was very hard to get in, for a Jewish person to a high school or so.
So, were many of your friends who were not Jewish, did they go to high school, or did they also go to Mukachev to learn a trade?
No, they remained like that, They didn't go to high schools either,
Do you think it was because it was expensive or because it was the war?
I mean, in the beginning it was because it was expensive, and then there's the war. The Hungarians took over Czechoslovakia. They were shooting and fighting, and then by Hungary, forget about it.
What did you do in this village when you weren't going to school or when you were learning the trade in Mukachev?
Yeah, I stayed there.
And what did you do with your friends? Did you have any recreations that you enjoyed?
Not really. No. were friendly with everybody, you know. It's like you used to come home from the big city for the weekend, and we had friends. So everybody was friends, you know. It's not a big city that you don't know. You knew everybody. You knew the whole village. You know, Jew and Gentile, everybody was, you know.
So did you have a social life there as a young girl?
We wouldn't call it the social life here, like here, that the children have. No. Everybody was close to the family, you know. It was a family atmosphere.
Could you describe what that meant?
That we were always together. It came a holiday or anything else. Everybody was together, you know. And you were satisfied with what you had, you know. You didn't know better.
You said that you stayed in the city during the week to learn to be a seamstress.
Right.
Who did you stay with?
I rented a room, yeah, and I stood, you know, and I ate there. And on the weekend we used to go home, like they do here.
Were you nervous about going into a big city by yourself?
No, we used to walk to it was a real Jewish big city. We used to have a very a big yeshiva and a very highly recognized rabbi that the president of Czechoslovakia, when he died, he came to the funeral. You know, so the Jews were very much respected till the Hungarians came.
Do you remember the name of the rabbi?
No. Matter of fact, there is in Brooklyn a grandson of his. Yeah. He's a rabbi too.
Were you homesick when you were in the big city?
No, because I was able to walk home. It took me an hour and I was home. And it was no transportation like they have here. You know, you walked.
And how many years did you spend there, learning to be a seamstress?
So, about 3 years. And then I came home and I used to work for people, making dresses without a pattern cut. And so they just described what they want and made it.
How did you decide how much to charge them?
And I mean, they had other seamstresses and whatever, you know, so you went, if you wanted, especially the work, you made it cheaper, and that's the way you had the work.
Can you describe some of the articles of clothing that you made?
Usually used to be our skirts and blouses, men's shirts and dresses, everything, whatever, aprons, whatever they needed. That's what they asked for and made it.
Did you ever make clothing for formal occasions, like wedding dresses?
You know what? I made when I came back from the concentration camp, I made a dress for this girl, and at the end I bought it too. She lent it to me.
What was the extent of your trade? Did you have a lot of customers?
Yes and no, because it wasn't a big village, and every third house was a seamstress. So, but I tell you, I supplied my mother with my two sisters that we had food to eat, you know.
So the family needed your income.
Yes, and then yes, because the brothers were married. And my mother was a widow, so we had to help.
What did your sisters do?
I was the most that I worked. They did cleaning and cooking and things like that, but I was the one that made the money.
And how many years did you do that?
the, since 39, the Hungarians came back until 44, till before they took us.
So you did it from the age of 13.
No, 17.
17.
Yeah, because I had 3 years to learn the trade.
And how old were you? What year was that in 1917?
No, not 19.
When you were 17?
When I was 17, in 1939, when the Hungarians came.
So you worked from 1939 to
44.
as a seamstress.
Yes.
Did you find that there was any prejudice about the fact that you were a Jewish seamstress?
They didn't have other seamstresses. They didn't do that. They were farmers, and they didn't have other seamstresses, you know. So they came to us, you know. Yeah.
Because you were the only one left.
No, it was more seamstresses, but not Jewish ones, you know.
So how did that affect you?
I mean, everybody had work because a lot of people, they came from different towns they bought the material, and they came and described the dress that they want, and we made it.
How long did it take you to make a dress?
A half a day or so. Mm.
How long was, what was the most time for which kind of a garment that you would spend on something?
Sometimes, you know, you put in different, you sew a dress, but in between you sew something else, and so on, you know. But we made, you know, money to live on.
And then you said something happened in 1944.
You mean then one day, it was after Passover, and the Christians celebrated Easter. They surrounded the village, and this girl, I was supposed to finish a dress for her to wear Easter Sunday, because I couldn't make it, so I woke up 4 o'clock to finish her dress, and she came, and she says, you know, they take in all the Jews, and I'm dummy, sitting and sewing the dress. And it was so, we didn't believe her, because she came all the time with rumors. So who believed her, you know? And so they came, and it was right after the Passover. We didn't have a piece of bread in the house and nothing, and they took surrounded the village and took us, and it was very embarrassing to see what they doing to us. And my mother and my sister went, and they were hiding in a garden by a neighbor. And I told the Hungarian that my mother went to her son in Munkacs. And meanwhile, this Gentile boy came and told that I found a Jew. So I remember I had very big, long hair, and he was pulling me by the hair. He says, why did you lie? And I don't know, I had such a courage. I said, all Hungary should burn, you know. Not that it helped me, but I said it. So my mother was included because somebody wanted to hide her, you know. But this guy came and told on her, and they surrounded, and we walked to Mukachevo in a brick factory. They put us up. We stood there for a month. There was no sanitary, nothing. They had a little lake of water, and people went to wash their clothes. I don't even want to say what was in that lake. It was terrible, you know. And we stood there in the middle of the night. They could have come in, those Hungarians, and wake us up and beat on us. So we stood there 4 weeks, and after 4 weeks, they took all the clothes away from us. They put it in a big pile, you know, and they gave us just what we had on ourselves, and they put us in cattle trains in 3 days, and we arrived in Auschwitz, you know.
Did anyone, when you were in this particular camp that the Hungarians took you to, did anyone around you get beaten?
Yes, because we were on top of the brick factory, and it was little like slats that you were able to look out, you know. And as I married my husband, we were talking about it, you know, and he was telling me that his brother, they took 2 men and they gave him 2 bricks, and they had to go on their stomachs, and they were beating them, and one was his brother.
Which you found out much
After,
later.
right.
Could you describe how you slept there?
On a wooden floor, and everybody took a little piece, and we brought along some pillows and things, but no covering, no nothing, and that's the way we slept in the ghetto.
This was in the spring.
Yes, it was usually in April is Passover, yeah, and in May. Okay.
Was it still cool weather there? Were you cold?
Oh yes, sure.
How did you feel while you were there?
Terrible. They said that they're gonna take us somewhere that we're gonna work. So we went like sheep. We didn't know that a world could be so cruel.
But you felt that you were going to a job.
That they're gonna gather all the Jews and they're gonna put us somewhere, and they, you know, everybody has a trade, and normally a human being could have done it, but we were against an evil person.
How did your mother feel and your sister?
My mother felt, she says, will I ever have enough bread to eat?
How did you get food there?
They cooked some mush there. I don't know. I don't even remember how we survived. I don't know.
Which sister was it that was with you?
It was one sister. She had 5 children. She was pregnant. Any minute she would have had the child, and she went to the crematorium with her 5 children, the 6th to be born.
Was this the sister that was taken with you from the village?
Yes, with
so
her family.
The 3 of you were together.
I mean, she was married, my sister, but we all went together. Yeah.
How many were you all?
We were the 3 sisters, and the other sister with the 5 kids, and then another brother's family, you know, and then was strangers in the train.
This, I'd like to go back before the train. This is when you got to this camp first.
Mm-hmm.
How many people in the family were with you when you went to the camp where you thought you were going to go to work?
Mm-hmm. So it was my mother and my 2 sisters, and the married sister with 5 kids, and another sister-in-law with 5 kids, and yeah.
Did they separate the men from the women?
In the ghetto? No, in the ghetto we were together. Everybody was together.
In what kind of a room was it?
No, it was on top of a brick factory, like an attic.
And how many people were there?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
And you slept
On the
where?
floor. On
Everybody
the floor.
slept on the
Yeah,
floor.
everybody took a little piece of a corner, and that's the way we slept.
How did everyone feel at this particular time?
Terrible. We had no choice. What can we do? You hold a gun. The one guard said to my mother, she says, "I'm your Messiah. I could kill you. Where is your God?"
Did your mother have an answer for him?
No, what can I answer that? And then they take the gun and hit it over the head. So you can't answer.
Did you see a lot of that kind of cruelty?
Yes, yes.
At this
you
particular...
have to watch. You have to watch yourself that you shouldn't come in contact with them as possible.
Do you remember how you avoided doing that?
Not to be in their eyes, to be on the side that they should not come in contact with you, if it's possible.
How did the children manage, the small children that were with you?
I mean, you know, children are children. They go out and play as children. What do they know? What's coming?
So you were there for...
4 weeks
And then you went...
to Auschwitz.